from the late 1800s to the early 1900s, Lewis Hines took photos across the United States of children working in harsh conditions. Lewis Hines taking those photographs changed the public's view on child labor and raised awareness to the horrors of the children's conditions, leading to laws limiting child labor and nourishing the health and education of children.
In the mid-19th century to the early 20th century, children across the United States were working in hard conditions and got little to nothing to show for it. This was known as child labor. Lewis Hines was a photographer who took pictures of the horrors of child labor and the atrocious conditions children faced. Lewis Hines used to be a New York school teacher, but felt strongly against child labor and started working for the NCLC, the National Child Labor Committee. Lewis Hines' photographs changed the public view on child labor. He was also one of the most known photographers in his time all the way to the present day. This documentary will dive into the story of Lewis Hines.
It starts in the mid-1800s, the peak of the Industrial Revolution. Children across the U.S. did hard labor in harsh working conditions that included environments such as factories, mines, and mills. The initial age range of working children was between 5 through 14 years old, which affected their profound beliefs through their early stages. Families and industries in America were dependent on these children, needing the money they provided for food and necessities. As Lewis Hines began his photography, those photographs were used by the NCLC to raise awareness, leading to laws outlawing child labor and nourishing the health and education of children. His goal was to catch their trials and the tiring journey they undertook, often degrading stereotypes surrounding the work at the time. It was a bit later as he joined the NCLC and started declaring issues with child labor. He pursued this as he went all around the United States making documentations and providing concrete evidence to mobilize public opinion and pressure lawmakers.
The answers from the lawmakers would not be unheard. The owners of the factories and mines using children were arguing how it paid families and businesses, creating problems with Lewis Hines, even going as far as trying to stop him from photographing their workers in fear of not being able to employ children. As it turned out, there was a three-way conflict between groups of people. The lower-class families, depending on their children's small added income to survive. The middle class, disgusted by the conditions but unable to convince more people. And the upper class of wealthy people, usually men, using cheap labor to get rich from quick industrialization. This would also initiate a ruling as illegal challenges would go against photographers. The case in question was Hammer v. Dagenhart in 1918. This is one of the most controversial and famous cases of that time, because it struck down the Keating-Owen Child Labor Act as unconstitutional federal overreach, meaning the federal government was committing actions that exceeded the specific powers granted to it by the U.S. Constitution. The photo evidence was very strong. Americans saw visual evidence of what conditions were put upon children. Public awareness was raised, outraging activists, and forcing undeniable evidence of the atrocities of child labor to lawmakers. If Lewis Hines' photojournalism didn't take place, children today may have been working in mines and factories, not behind desks or playing on a field. The public detestation of the idea that children should be working like adults led to several laws being passed, including the Keating-Owen Child Labor Act and the Fair Labor Standards Act, creating boundaries for how children can work. Hines' work demonstrated how influential digital and visual media could be on politics, later becoming an immense gateway for the public to be heard out. Louis Hines' work was a major reform in the laws and public views surrounding child labor in the United States. One person was able to peacefully document and photojournal scenes of children doing hard labor across a country and non-violently reform public perception on a wide-reaching level. The reactions to the photographs reformed the public's view of thinking that child labor is necessary for economic development and supporting families, and to making lawmakers pass laws to establish minimum wage, work condition requirements, age restrictions to work, and hours minors can work. He fought injustice and established new foundations for photography, and voiced his mind to the world. Louis Hines will be known for his commitment.